Welcome, guys. Hey, Hockey Wing, how are you? Yeah, I decided to get some coffee rolling here. It's probably about cold, so eventually I'll have to go warm it up. Yeah, let's see. Let me see this. Hey, Carol Lee, how are you? Bear with me, guys. I don't know if I can. Trying to figure something out, guys. Just a minute. I'm not going to mute myself. I'm just going to do something real quick. I'm just going to not show my face right now. I'll be right back, guys. Hold tight. Just trying to see if I can get this plugged in. Just a second, guys. I'm trying to plug something in. It's getting complicated. Hi, Whoppy. Watch out, honey. There we go. Okay, I think I got it. Let's see. Still not sure how I'm going to do this. Okay, guys, sorry about that. You guys were probably like, what is going on? Good question. Let's see if this turns on. I've got a coffee warmer, and I'm trying to. So it's where you set your mug on top of it, and it keeps it hot. Yeah. And of course, it's in Chinese because it's an Asian themabopper. Maybe I won't be able to do this tonight. I'll have to figure it out. Because, pretty hard to read that brochure. Of course, something so simple. There's the switch, yada, 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 yada. Touch screen. I don't know. I'll have to figure it out. For right now, I guess I'll have cold coffee. Anyway, thank you guys so much. Thank you for being here. Ashley, Carol Lee, Darla's here. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys for the love and support. I really do appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, imagine that. I don't know anything about Mandarin. Except the Mandarin oranges that I love to eat. That's the only thing Mandarin I know. And those are good. But tonight, as you can tell, the title, we are doing something completely different. I wanted to start earlier, but my body just was not having it. Talk about sluggish. The last couple days I've just been yeah, ancient Chinese secret. There you go. I wanted to have a chit chat, and before we get into the chit chat, which Carol Lee, you're still here, right? Correct? Let me know if you're still here. Because Carol Lee has given me a lot of ideas, a lot of different things, she's interested in or would like to hear or whatever. So yeah, Carol Lee's fault. Yeah, we'll blame Carol Lee. So tonight, Carol Lee, there is one of your suggestions that you had for me that I am going to bring into the convo tonight. So stay tuned. It's not going to be right off the bat, but we're going to get into it pretty quick. So the first thing I want to do, because I'm going to be talking about random stuff, guys, and this is not anything to do with anything else, just random topics, off the cuff kind of thing. I have 2 of them planned, and then the rest is literally off the cuff. Who knows what we'll talk about. But the first topic that I would like to talk about is praise reports. Now, you guys know me well enough to know that when somebody had something wonderful happen, where God, we always say when God answers your prayers, God always answers your prayers. It's just not, he doesn't always answer them like we may want him to, or at the timing, like at what level we want him to, or whatever. He always answers them, but praise reports, something that you've been praying for specifically, and it happened. It happened, and we can praise God and celebrate. Is there anybody tonight that may have a praise report or 2 or 3 or whatever that you would like to share with the audience? If it's more of a personal level and you don't want to share it, don't feel obligated. I just wanted to, and I'm going to go ahead and yes, and sometimes his answer is no. Exactly. Yep. That is for sure. We want to hear the yes, but it's not always yes, I'm going to start off with, as far as a praise report, I ask you guys if you would pray for my cat, Tempe, which is Templeton. We call him Tempe, Mr. T, a lot of things, Temptation. I told you this before, guys. My cats, they have 20,000 different names for 10,000 cats, It's a wonder they even come to us at all, because it seems like every day there's a new name. Hi, Giovanni. Welcome. Yes. Humpty Dumpty Day. Yeah, exactly. I can't believe it already. We're going to blink our eye and Friday's going to be here. So I'll start off with Templeton. I asked you guys to pray. He's been sick, and I know to some people, okay, Dawn, it's an animal. Like, who cares? But you guys know how I feel about animals. I tell you, anymore, I can trust them a whole lot better than I can trust people. That being said, anyway, he's been sick. It's more than just trying to get up a hairball or something. And it looks like today I have not caught any sickness at all from him. So that is my praise report tonight. So thank God that I don't see him sick today so far. So that's good news. Hey, Bobo. Our contractor's wife has a severe issue with blood flow to her stomach. They have been to Duke Hospital in North Carolina several times over several months trying to find a surgeon. Oh, wow. Wow, wow, wow. Oh, that's not good. Well, yeah, we'll have to pray that God gets her to the right surgeon and doctor to help the matter. So, yes, he really, really does. He really does. In the Bible, the Lord depicts a lot of things by using animals. So he depicts a lot of different scenarios and things that have happened directly with animals. So, yeah. Yeah, it has been. Oh man, that is definitely a praise. Getting to know Wing and Hockey and all of you has been really, honestly, just the best thing. Just the best thing. And Darla, you've come into the show now and all that. And I've been so blessed by the people that Wing brought in herself. Um, it's just been great getting to know everybody. So that's definitely a praise. Yes. Yes, Carolee. I mean, when I look at my little Tempe, like I said, I usually call him Tempe. First of all, he's our skinniest cat that we have. Him, Zoe, and Cleo are our smallest cats this way. All the other cats are plump and they've got a little weight issue the other direction. But we do have some skinny minis. And Templeton, of course, lost some weight. So, just this week, they finally have a surgeon. Oh, good. Okay. So, okay, good. So that's a praise report. Okay, awesome. Yeah. Stomach issues you really can't uh, linger on. You have to really get those taken care of as soon as possible because, I mean, it could be so many different things. Just a second, guys. I got to go get Cindy. Cindy. I'll be right back, guys. Stay put. Cindy? Okay. We got the little instigator. He was starting drama with Zoe, so I had to pull him. Since moving here, God has been protected us several times from severe weather, but this latest snowstorm, God has spoken to me and gave me a vision that there is a cleansing fire that is happening. Wow. Okay. And yes, God definitely does that. Sometimes he has to um, cleanse the land, cleanse people, cleanse situations. And yeah, that's awesome. Yes. Cuddling with calicos. Maybe I should just have a show just on that. That would be interesting, right? Hey, Skylar, how are ya? Welcome. Another praise is that my next to the oldest son there for a bit was looking for another job. Well, he got one recently, so I am thankful for that because I had been praying for him. So that's another praise that my son found a job. Right now, it's a temporary job, but he has plenty of time to look for another one after this job releases him. So that's a praise report right there. So I was really glad to hear that. And also I got to meet up with him. And something I really love, my kids are older. Some of you might be young enough to where I'm old enough to be your mom. I kid you not. I just had my youngest daughter just turned 25. I have kids in their 30s. So some of you, I might be old enough to be your mom. But anywho, um, I was able to have a really heart to heart chit chat again with my next to the oldest, my son Devin. And I love those talks. Now, you guys know I can talk anybody up a tree and down the other side. But I tell you, my favorite talks of all time are when I sit down with my adult children and I talk to them about life. And we swap information, we swap um, different suggestions and advice. And I mean, they even give me advice, and I love it. And so we had a heart to heart talk, and I just don't take any of that for granted. I just love it. Yes, exactly. There you go, Skylar. Yes, favor. Um, you know, he handpicked us, he created each of us. So we're all special to him and his kingdom. So when he created us, he knew exactly what he was doing. He knows every hair on your head. He knows where you're going tomorrow, what you're doing. He knows every thought in your head. Uh, it's kind of freaky when you think about it, but it's actually, it kind of brings you somewhat of a peace because he knows you that well. Um, so that's why, you know, it's best to confide in him when we're struggling with something, whatever it is. Um, but I also, Miss Carol Lee is in the chat, and she had brought up a suggestion, and I am going to go ahead and I'm going to roll with the suggestion that she brought up. This was a while back, and I'm honestly kind of ashamed that I have not ran with this suggestion, but I'm going to run with it now because it was such a good suggestion. She had suggested about talking about our testimonials. Anybody who, no matter, okay, let's put it this way, whatever faith you have, whatever religion you're involved in, whatever belief system you have going in a spiritual realm, if you have testimonials, to please, if you could, give them. And if anybody wants to come up on screen and physically give your testimonial about how you came to know Christ, or what spiritual destination you chose for yourself and your family, whatever it may be, because, this is a platform where you meet all kinds of people with all different belief systems. And there's no, judgment. It's just, what is if you have a testimonial, what is it? And if it's how you came to know Christ, or how you came to be involved in whatever spiritual group that you are affiliated with, how you came to be the person you are now because of it. So if anybody has any testimonial that they would like to give, that would be great. You would now, Wing, if you want to come live, I'll send you the link. And I do have a testimonial myself, if you want to hear it. If you don't want to hear my testimonial, I don't listen. That is fine. I don't have to give mine, but I like finding out from all of you how you believe, how you like your spiritual walk, whatever it may be, because everybody's got their own, everybody's completely different, and it's interesting to find out how people came into the person they are now. You know what I mean? Oh, okay. Okay. I totally understand. For me, Wing just said it's ugly but a wonderful ending. That's kind of like what mine was. My testimonial, it wasn't like this happy, cheerful story that will make you so glad that, and you know what I mean. It's kind of more of a bad situation kind of thing. But this is the thing. I guess before I start my testimonial, if you're a Christian, then you already know this, that God does not save the righteous. He comes to you when you are the complete opposite, when you are living a life that is ugly in some aspect. It might not be pretty. It might be devastating. It might be very hardcore, he doesn't come to help the righteous. He comes to help the sinners, right? Like I said, this is for the people if you believe in Christianity. Now, I realize everybody is of different faith, and I'm number one, I am not here to judge you. Whatever your belief system is, you have a right to that belief system, and no one can tell you you don't. Everybody has to live their own truth, whatever it is. Maybe you are a Mormon. Maybe you are a Catholic. Maybe you are a Buddhist. Maybe you're an atheist. Maybe you don't believe in God. Maybe you just don't have any religion. You're not tied to any religion. You're not affiliated to any of it. And that's your belief system. I'm not here to judge anybody. I will not partake in that. Everybody has a right to feel and believe however they want to. But I will give you my background. And so, hi, Wildflower. Welcome. My testimony, like I said, it's not really a happy moment in one way in my life. Check your text. Okay. Okay, Bob. All right. Wing, Gabriel, that picture. So cute. So I have to give you a little bit of a backdrop of my childhood, because that's when I was saved. That is my testimonial of when it happened. So my background, for those that don't know, I don't know that I've really touched on my childhood, but I guess I'll have to tell you the story. I lived in a home where, okay, my biological parents, they have long passed away many years ago. My mom passed away in 2000, And my dad passed away several years before that. I was still a kid, and I was pretty young. And well, I was 7 or 8. I can't remember. Thank you guys. Thank you so much, Skylar. Thank you guys for your support. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you, Wing. I lived with we were adopted, and we were adopted. My twin sister, a lot of you already know I have a twin sister named Kelly. Every once in a blue moon, she'll come into my chat, but it's rare. And my baby brother. We three were adopted by our aunt and uncle. And now all my parents have passed away except for my adopted mother, who is still living, the one that I talked to you guys about. So when I was 7 or 8, and I believe it was, I was 7, 8, or 8. It had to be then. We grew up in a household. Our adopted parents were Christians, and they were very, very strict. But they came from the old school way of raising your kids, where that verse in the Bible that talks about sparing the rod, back then they used to use that verse to basically get away with abuse. So back then it was very common when I was a kid that most children were abused as far as discipline. And we were a product of that. We were heavily abused. Now, before I finish this story, I should say this. We have had talks with my mother and father about this. My sister has given her testimonial up in my mom and dad's church. So this isn't something that's hush hush. So don't think that, it hasn't already been out there. I never bring this up to you guys because I don't know. It's just nothing I really talk about. But anyway, we had a really rough background. I'll just tell you that. I won't get into the details because, that we could be here forever. But there was one night where I was having a really rough time at home. I was going through, a lot with my parents. And I grew up, we went to Sunday church. We went to prayer meetings on Wednesday. We went to Sunday night church. Whenever the church doors were open, any banquets, special events, we had to be there. That's how I was raised. So, and I'm glad I was raised that way. I don't have any ill will about that, but we were raised whenever the doors were open, we were there. And I always felt like, gee, my parents were kind of like Sunday Christians, if you will, because they put on this facade of who they were to everybody else. But behind closed doors, they were monsters. And, we were raised to believe that we are all sinners. And if you ask the Lord into your heart and confess your sin, he is faithful and just to forgive you of your sin and to cleanse you of all of it and forgive you. And you too can become a child of God. So that's how we were raised. And one night I was laying in bed after a really, like I said, a really hard time at home. And it was one of those moments where I was just like crying out to God, like mentally. saying prayers like, God, why is this happening to me? And even though I was a little kid, I was like, Jesus, please help me, help me, help me. I didn't know what else to pray. I knew that if he's real, I got to call out to him. That's how I was raised. So basically, the Holy Spirit gave me, spoke to me and told me that I really needed to ask him to come into my heart. Now, I was just a little kid and I didn't understand all of the details of becoming a Christian. I had no clue. I didn't know all of it. I knew you had to ask Jesus into your heart, but I didn't really know how to go about doing it. I really didn't know how to say the prayer. I didn't know if there was a special way, but I knew I was desperate and I knew I needed help. And so I called out to him and I said, God, why am I going through this? What's oh man. I'm sorry, guys. Hang on. I did not expect to cry. Okay, I'm sorry, and I will get it together. Please don't think I'm doing this for some sort of attention moment because I'm truly not. It's kind of embarrassing, but anyway, where did I leave off? From the way I was raised and what I read of the Bible, what I was taught is that we're all sinners. And I said, Lord, if I am a sinner, please, whatever bad things I did, please forgive me of whatever it was and, come into my heart. And so I said it, it was, a child praying this, mind you. So I didn't have full knowledge of everything I was doing, but I knew that from what the Bible said is that we all sin and we all have to confess that and ask him to forgive us. So I ask him to come into my heart and to just wash everything away, whatever it was that I did or said or didn't say or whatever. And the instant I prayed this, because like I said, the Holy Spirit, you just get this urge. I had this urge almost like it was coming out of my body to pray this prayer, that I needed to pray this prayer and I needed to have this conversation with God and I needed to release this. And after I prayed this prayer, oh my word, the overwhelming feeling that I got went literally from my head all the way down. I felt suddenly a release. I also felt this overwhelming, like, happiness. Now, mind you, I came from, like I said, a background of really, tough times. It was not fun being in a household that at times there were 8 of us children all occupying this house with 2 parents that, like I said, they came from the old school. They didn't argue with you if you did something. What they did was they just turned you over their knee, or they grabbed something to use to discipline you. and they went to town. There wasn't any, you didn't mouth off at your parents back then. You didn't, you didn't say anything you shouldn't. You didn't even look at them with any kind of look that might send you to the bedroom with the belt. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I came from. And so when I prayed this, like I said, I was 7 or 8 years old. I was very young. But that feeling, when you say that prayer, that feeling is, you can't describe it other than, like I said, it's like a release in the best way. And it's also, you all of a sudden find joy. It came out of nowhere. Obviously, in that situation, I mean, they sent me to bed and I was pretty roughed up that night. You would think, how do you find joy, in that moment? Well, it's because I asked him to come in. He did that. He took all that. Jeez. My word, I thought this would be a good idea, and here I am bawling. But it was such a exciting time, because at that time, as a child, you don't feel like you have hope. You feel like you're in this situation. I mean, listen, we were hopeless. We were powerless. We had no control over anything. We didn't have control over if we were going to have a good day or a bad day. We had no control over that. When you woke up, you automatically, most of the time, thought that something bad was going to happen. That was my childhood. My childhood was like that. And even after, I want to tell you, although this is my testimony, obviously I continued to stay living there with them, and I still had the same problems. It didn't change my problems. I still had the same scenario going on. But what it gave me was a new friend, a friend named Jesus that could help me get through all of that, which is it's a lot to handle as a child. You don't know where to turn. And it gave me somewhere to turn. It gave me someone that I could confide in. When you go through that, just a second, guys. I'm going to keep talking, but I'm going to kind of clean up my face. When you go through that, you don't have any hope, and it goes beyond that. It goes to the point where you want out. You just want a way out. You start thinking in your head, okay, why am I put on this earth? Why am I here? Why am I dealing with all of this? Why can't I have parents like so and so? They have really nice parents who love them. Why can't I have what they have? You start, all these thoughts go through your head. Why is this happening? How can I stop it? Then you start turning on yourself. I just want to end it. I just, want to run away. I want to, take myself out, whatever. You know what I mean? You have these really horrible thoughts because it's like there's no end in sight. You know that it's never going to end. And so when I prayed this prayer, it did a lot for me all at one time. It was like I said, I've never felt that feeling ever of release, of peace, of joy, of hope. I've never ever felt all those things at like the highest pinnacle, except for that night when I said the prayer. And the key to it is, of course, too, I knew from what I was raised reading in the Bible that God was there for me. And so I had that belief that there was something Jesus could do. I didn't know what it was, but I knew that literally he was my last hope. And he was the only person that could help me. Because the obvious, I couldn't go to my parents. I wasn't allowed to talk to other people about this. So the only person I had was Jesus. And like I said, you got to understand, I was a little kid. Although I knew a lot of scripture by then, I knew a lot of things about Jesus, I still didn't know how exactly to go about it. I didn't even know how to pray really, other than I knew what I was supposed to sort of say. But I literally just cried out to him and said, Jesus, please save me. Save me from all this disaster. I can't bear it anymore. I can't go on really anymore until something happens. You've got to just take me out of this pit. And like I said, I'm going to come back on live, guys. I'm just trying to keep myself under control here because I really don't want you guys to think I'm the biggest crybaby out there. But lately, tell you what, I've been crying a lot. I don't know what the deal is. Anywho, and welcome, Amy. Thank you so much for being here. I'm sorry, guys. I had to tap out for a minute. Hi, Colleen. Welcome. I'm sorry, guys. I was trying to get myself together here. I'm not saying giving you my testimony for you guys to like feel sorry for me or to get some kind of attention that whatever, weird attention or whatever. I'm telling you this because number one, your testimony can help people around the world. Who knows? Who knows? Even if it helps just one person, it's worth it. But secondly, it can give people hope that there's whatever bad things are going on in your life, there is somebody that can help. They can truly help like nobody else. I mean, I promise you, you can't get help like this from people. You can't. Now, we get a lot of help. I get a lot of help from you folks. I get a lot of help from Bob. I get a lot of help from people in my real world. Don't get me wrong. But sometimes we need help with our heart. We need help mentally, emotionally. We're going through heavy stuff. Maybe you're going through something. I mean, obviously, we don't know what everybody's going through. You guys don't know what I'm going through. I don't know right now what you're going through. And to a certain degree, can we help you? Maybe. Yeah. Once in a while, maybe sort of we can help you a little bit here and there. But the only person that can help you with exactly what you need at the exact time that you need it, on the exact day that you need it, there's only one person. From the way, like I said, here again, I'm not trying to preach to you or, control you into thinking what I think. But the way I was raised, what I believe from my Bible, he is the only one that can truly help you in your most desperate, horrible circumstance, whatever it is that you are going through, whatever it may be. And it may seem like the most impossible mountain to climb. And, still to this day, I do want to say this. The part of my testimony that I told you, that when I invited Jesus into my heart, did it stop the devastating acts that were going on underneath my household? And these were by two people that claimed they were Christians, mind you. Okay. Did it stop all that? Did he stop it completely? No, he did not. I'll just tell you right now, he did not. Sometimes, okay, I think people get the wrong impression of Jesus, of God. They think that because he is all powerful, he's all knowing, he can see all and all that he's going to stop everything that's going wrong in your life and you will never ever suffer again. You will never ever go through something traumatizing or difficult or challenging or whatever. No, here's the thing. When we take the narrow road, because that's what they call it, when you become saved, you start taking the path that is a lot more narrow. Because as Christians, we are called to live our lives a certain way. We're not supposed to veer off that path. And listen, because we're human, we do. We do veer off the path. And yes, we still sin. I am not perfect. Because I ask him into my heart doesn't mean I no longer sin, and no matter what I do or say, oh, I'm definitely going to heaven. No, that's not what that means. We have to every day challenge ourselves to walk that narrow path that is difficult. It says right in the Bible that it's difficult to go down this path. If you're going to be a Christian, you better buckle your seatbelt up. I'm telling you, if you think you have problems now, it could be, may not be. Every person's different, but there are problems that you will go through because God is going to test you. He's going to test your faith to see if you're still walking that path. When you look at Job in the Bible, a lot of it, some of you may have heard about Job in the Bible, some of you may not. Job was a man of God. He had a big family. He had a wife. He had several children, lots of animals. He had wealth. He was well-to-do. He had lots of land, and he was content and happy. Well, the devil wanted to tempt him, and the Lord allowed it. And he wanted, Job to give up on his faith and do away with God. And so, because the devil will tempt us, he'll come in even more hardcore at you, because now if you're a man or woman of faith, he's going to go in for the jugular, and he knows your weaknesses. Now, the devil doesn't know it all. He doesn't know everything about you, but he does know where he can get you. So, he took away his family. His family left him. Some were killed. this and that. All his animals, everything was taken away from Job. And he had some friends of his, some best friends that I think, or they were fairly good friends anyway, that the devil used to come at him. Hey, boy, Job, you must have done something wrong. In order for God to wipe out your whole family and take them all away, and all your animals, all your wealth, all your, you have nothing. Like, boy, you must not be on God's good side, you know? And he went through all these things. The friends kept turning on him and twisting the situation. And every time, he still trusted that God was going to come through and help him through the situation. And you know what happened? That's exactly what happened. Not only did he get his family back, he got his family, his new family and children. He got everything back. I think it was double fold or whatever. He got even more because he showed the Lord, no, I'm not going to give up my Jesus. I'm not going to do away with Christianity. I'm not going to throw it all away. I'm trusting that you are still there. You are still guiding my life, and I'm going to trust you that you have something in mind for me. And that's exactly what God did. He blessed him for getting through that trial that the devil gave him. And, I look at that life of Job as a very, for me, it's so encouraging, because sometimes we feel like we're going through heck. We are going through heck in a handbasket, and there's no light at the end of the tunnel. I think we all can safely say we've gone through things that has made us feel hopeless, right? In some kind of way. And we're like, man, I can't take it anymore. I can't take this person anymore. I can't take this circumstance anymore. I can't take my job anymore. You're fighting with your husband or your wife and you can't take it anymore. Your kids are rebellious and they hate you and they're driving you nuts and you just can't take it anymore. We all have felt these things. And so Job is a very inspirational story of a man who, he had a lot of terrible things happen to him, death and all kinds of things. And, it's hard to trust, isn't it? We can't physically see God. And so it's not easy to just lay it all out there and trust him, right? So, hi, Julia. Welcome. Welcome. I'm just having a chit chat here. Right now, I'm having my testimonial, and I want to thank you guys for still being here. I know some people stepped away, and I understand if you don't want to listen to my testimony or a little bit of my background. I totally understand. And if you want to leave, you are welcome to leave. I just want to, I guess, when it comes to testimonials, because Carol Lee, this was such a great idea. And thank you so much, Carol Lee, for this idea. What I hope that this does is give you guys hope that, just the other day I kind of, was bearing out certain things that were happening, at least from the YouTube level. And sometimes, like I said, when it comes to being a Christian, I think people have the wrong perception. They think that it's going to be all roses and rainbows, right? They think it's going to be um they think it's going to be a season of life where all of a sudden, no matter what you go through, you're always going to get yeses from God. You're always going to be rich. You're always going to be happy. You're always going to have nothing but good things happen to you. Hey, Drew, welcome. Yeah, I'm okay, Drew. This is actually good tears. This is not. Drew, lately, I don't know. I've been a little emotional. I don't know what's going on with me, but it's all okay. It's good emotion. There's nothing bad going on. I'm sorry. You guys are seeing me at a emotional time lately. I don't know. Is it maybe something hormonal? I'll have to get it checked out, guys. I don't know. Anyway, you know, when we start thinking these thoughts about Christianity, you're putting people in a box. First of all, everybody is different, and they go about their Christian walk maybe differently than somebody else. I am a Christian where I don't believe in judging people. That's not my job. It's God's job. So I don't judge you. You know, there's people that, okay, are from all kinds of denominations and walks of life. There's, you know, for example, there's people that say I'm Protestant, so therefore I'm Christian. I'm a Catholic, but I'm a Christian. I'm a Buddhist, but I'm a Christian. I'm a this, but I'm a Christian. Okay, I'm not here to split hairs. I'm not here to judge. I'm not here. Whatever you believe, that is your personal walk that you have to take in whatever way that is. I am only here expressing my walk of faith, which for me, like I said, I had a really rough childhood. It was every day you were wondering, sometimes at times, if you were going to live through a beating. Oh, thank you, Ashley. Hi, Andrew. Um, so this is just, I wanted to bring this up, like I said, for people that maybe don't have the, hi Drew, maybe don't have the, yes, Andrew and Drew. We got two Andrews in the house. That's cool. Bob. Maybe you don't have hope tonight. Maybe you're going through something terrible. Maybe it's not abuse like what I was talking about before. Maybe it's maybe you're going through a divorce. Maybe, or you're fighting with your significant other. Maybe you are going through a big financial strain. You don't have the money right now to make your house payment, to pay your bills, and you don't know what you're going to do. Maybe your car broke down and you don't have a way to work, and you're wondering how you're going to make it to your job. I can tell you that there is hope. And I hope that with this testimony, you understand that it was because of God, it was because of salvation that I received that gift of hope, because I had none. At that point in my life, I was just a little kid. And I felt like at times, like I said, I was fighting to live. There were times I really truly felt like I was going to die at the hands of my parents, because they were so vicious and volatile that I didn't think, I thought I was going to get beaten to death. I really did. And um, I realized that this is a tough subject and all that, but not everybody comes from a good background, but also not everybody right now, currently, the state you're living in, maybe you don't have it so good. Maybe you are fighting a really horrible disease or type of cancer or whatever, and nobody knows about it. And you don't know how you're going to, you know, get any kind of hope. You don't know what you're going to do tomorrow with this news. Maybe you just got told today you have stage 4 cancer. I do know what it feels like to have no hope. Now, obviously, we're all different and we have different circumstances, but I can tell you that I've been in lots of hopeless situations, and I can tell you that there was one answer to all of this, and it was God. I just didn't always, as I grew up, I will tell you, although I was saved when I was young, as I got older and I got to be in my 20s, I started to step away from the Lord. I started to step off that narrow path. Yeah, I started to walk away and I started to go, to the left. And I started to live a life that wasn't conducive to my faith. And trust me, I was convicted. But at the same time, I was having fun. I didn't want to give up that life. I didn't want to give up that lifestyle. I was having a good time most of the time, not all the time, of course. And in that time, you can step away from God if you choose to. But if you do, don't expect the next time you say a prayer, God save me from whatever is going on in your life. Don't expect the answer from Him to necessarily be, okay, I will. And, there was a long period of time I was suffering. And it's because I kept going back into this life. I kept going back into this life, and I didn't want to really give it up. I didn't. Temptation. That's where the devil's going to get you the most. Temptation. He's going to give you a boat, and he's going to boat you right out to, Temptation Island, and he's going to drop you off, and you are going to be a castaway on Temptation Island. Trust and believe. And there's all kinds of temptations. There's all kinds. Hey, can I receive a prayer for lust, please? It's really holding me back from what everything. God has everything. Yeah. Hi, Melinda. Welcome. Yes. I will pray for you right now, Andrew. If that's okay with you folks, I'll go ahead and pray for Andrew. We all have temptations. And you know, you don't have to vocalize them. Surely, if you don't want to, you can keep it to yourself. God knows what your temptations are, and He will help you through them. I'm going to go ahead and pray for Andrew. And if you guys want to bow your heads and pray with me, that would be great. That would be great, because where are two or more are gathered, the power of God can be right there. So let's pray for Andrew. Let's join him in this prayer to relieve him of this temptation. God, we come before you right now in regard to Andrew. God, he is asking prayer for the temptation of lust. And God, lust is a really huge temptation with a lot of people. It's a very common temptation. And many of us have come in contact with that particular temptation. God, we pray right now in Jesus' name that you will deliver Andrew from this temptation and get him right back on the path to righteousness, and deliver him from any type of action towards the lust. God, we pray, and we pray that you would just put a hedge of protection around him, that he will know that you are right there with him, and you are going to see him through all of this. And we pray in your precious name, amen. Yes, Wobbs. Bob, can you get Wobbs? Bob is here. My Bobo, he's here.
I don't know where Wobbs is at.
She might be in the tree behind you.
Oh, Lord.
Andrew, I hope and pray that your walk with God gets strengthened, and I hope, like I said, you can be delivered of all this. It's tough, and I myself have had a lusting mind. I'm not gonna pretend like I've never come underneath that temptation. I have multiple times. I think anybody really, if they were honest, I think most everybody in the world today has had that one temptation. I think we can all share that temptation at some point. We have. And it's not easy. That's one of the toughest temptations, I would say. Anything to do with of a sexual nature is tough. It's tough to get through, because we're all human. At the end of the day, God gave us, the human mind that our thoughts kind of carry and all that to a bad direction. I've got Wobbs, Drew.
Thank you. I love it. I just woke her up.
Oh, Wobby was sleeping.
On my pillow.
Oh, Wobby was sleeping. Hi, Wobby. Drew, are you here? Say hi, Wobby. Andrew, this is my cat, Wobble. She's our big calico cat. We have a smaller one named Cindy, and Cindy is a girl. It's a long story why our little male calico is named Cindy. That'll be for another day. But this is Wobble, and we call her Wobbs for short. And she's my channel mascot. Right, Wobby? She was just sleeping. Oh, I can smell your cologne on her. Look, Wobbs, Drew is there in the chat. Oh, I don't know who she was hissing. Who are you hissing at? What's wrong? You want to go back to Bob?
She wants to go back to bed.
I think she wants to go back. Yeah, there you go.
Come here, baby girl.
Sorry about that. Can you help her, Bob?
Come here, baby girl.
Okay, she just got mad. She was just
Come here,
hissing.
baby. Come here, baby.
Um,
Come here.
let me go back up.
No, I think she wants to stay right where she's at.
Oh, no, I think she wants. You want through, Wabi? There.
Yeah, she wants it.
Um,
Hi, baby.
the spirit of lust and the spirit of offense
I'll be
are
right
the
back.
enemy's best tools, but God is always with us and we can rely on him minute to minute. Yeah. I will say that you know, yes. Have a good night, Skylar. Oh, Skylar, are you leaving? Okay. Yeah, we need to hear. We'll get Wing on here if she wants, or if she wants to do it on her channel. And we'll definitely get Wing on here to give her testimony. I think that'll be awesome. Like I said, guys, my personal testimony is not um my personal testimony is not one of those, you know, awesome testimonies as far as, you know, it's a little bit more graphic, and um it didn't go down, you know, exactly like, you know, maybe I would want it to, as far as overall, like later. But that's just the thing. We don't always understand the whys. Like, why did God allow this, that, or the other? Um, but that's the thing of it. God is the only one that knows exactly what we're thinking, exactly what we're doing, what we're going to do. Hi, Cynthia. Welcome. And like I said, if nothing else, God's right there to get you through the hard times. And even though, you know, Bob and I always have things to pray about, not just you people and your health and circumstances and all that, but, you know, we always have stuff on our own, about our own lives, that we have to pray for. You know, we're just like anybody else. We have cars that break down from time to time. We have bills that might have got a little bit too big and out of hand that we have to pay for and come up with the money. Um, Sometimes we struggle financially here and there. Um, Sometimes we have issues with the house that we got to take care of, and we're wondering how we can do it. Sometimes we have health issues and we got to go through a bunch of testing and this and that. We're just like you guys. Just because I'm a Christian doesn't mean I don't face the same things that you guys may face. It doesn't mean all of a sudden I'm immune to bad things happening. In fact, like I said before, it does say in the Bible you are going to suffer, because you're walking down a path that everybody, the devil, his demons, everybody's going to try to knock you off that path. They don't want you to serve Jesus and walk down that path. They want you to go to the left. That's what they want. And they want that more than anything. And they're not going to quit until, you know, they either ruin you or get you knocked off the path or something. So it's a battle. But when we wake up every day, we have the choice on how to live. You know, there are, you know, pretty normal ways that everybody, no matter what faith, religion, no matter if you're a Christian or not, we believe. Most everybody in the world, oh, wow, Andrew. Wow. Well, I'm so glad you're here. to be a witness that you have gotten through all of those horrible situations and you're still here to tell your story. Wow. Yeah, the devil lost again. Exactly. Wow. You know, most of us can agree in the world that we shouldn't murder somebody. Most of us agree that we should not cheat on our spouses. Most of us agree that we shouldn't rob a bank. Most of us agree that we shouldn't do drugs. Okay, there's a lot of things that most of us, I would say, believe here and there. Now, here again, there's everybody's got their own ways of believing on those topics and otherwise. But like I said, at the end of the day, number one, we're all human. So just that aspect alone means we're going to make mistakes. And sometimes they're going to be huge mistakes. They're not going to be little baby mistakes. They're going to be big, big killer mistakes. Number two, we can repent and be delivered of those sins if we choose to. Now that's up to us individually. Number three, we need God to help us because we are human. We can't do everything on our own. Now we have to do what we can to help our situation get as good as it can be. And then the rest of it, we have to lean on the Lord to help us. It's not easy, and it's not for the faint of heart. It gets tough sometimes. When you look at, I brought this up the other day, the Cali fires. This is just an example because we're face to face with it. It's a natural disaster that is going on right now. It is a horrible, horrible situation. Many people have lost their homes. Yeah, loved ones, pets. I can only imagine what they're going through. I personally have never, ever been through a fire. I have never, ever had a home that was taken by fire. So I can only imagine. I have never experienced it. So, but just imagining the suffering and the devastating situation that it is, I can see why. I mean, you would probably just curl up and be in one big ball of tears. I mean, because what else would you do, right? Oh, okay. Yes. Andrew, thank you so much for coming by. And God bless you. And we hope that everything works out and you'll have a blessed day tomorrow. Yes. And hopefully you can come back and spend some time with us. Bob, can I have you warm this up for me? It's getting a little cold. People that are going through these fires, a lot of them, guys, are hopeless right now. They don't have another home to reside in. They don't even have money for a hotel. The Red Cross hasn't gotten to everybody yet. FEMA, all the things, all the agencies, all the community centers and all that. Yes, people have already started donating and coming into Cali to help people. But that being said, there's many, many people that like have nothing. And I mean, except for the clothes on their back, they, don't even have a place to sleep tonight. Then, North Carolina, when the hurricanes, there's still people there that are going through the worst hell on earth that they could. You know, we, unfortunately, no matter what help we give them, and it's so encouraging to see all the agencies and people clamoring around to help these people. That being said, not everybody has been helped. Not everybody maybe will be helped or right away. And they need hope. And, you know, God can even turn that kind of situation totally around. But he wants us to lean on him. He actually wants us to pray to him and ask him for help. And, you know, if we're doing everything in our power to do what's right and according to his laws, he will help us. He isn't a big bad God up there that is just up there, you know, taking shots at people. And, you know, a lot of people look at God in a kind of a different way. Some of them really fear God, like, oh, I'm too afraid. I don't want to talk to him. He's, you know, if he's this great big God and he's so wonderful, but yet he can, you know, take people home to be with him, or he could change your situation, you know, in a second. You know, it kind of brings fear to people sometimes. But when you truly have him in your heart, all that fear goes away. You know, I look at it this way. What's the worst that could happen if you ask him into your heart? What's the worst that could happen? The worst that could happen is you will remain in the same situation you're in and you won't go anywhere. You know what I mean? So that being said, what would it hurt to try him? Try, see what, you know, God is all about. See what he can do. You know, he created us, so he's powerful enough that he can turn things around for you. Those big green tents. Yeah. 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 Definitely. I've seen a lot of people already on YouTube that are helping these poor people, and that's awesome. The amount of people, not just in America. Guys, I've seen already people in Australia and England and different parts, different countries. They've also donated and been flying things in, and they've been coming to the United States already to help out the victims of the fires and of the hurricane. They're, you know, sending money through the internet to different, like Red Cross and different organizations. So when I seen that, I mean, that really is hopeful. It's awesome. Hi, Mr. Stephanie. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. That means so much to me. Thank you. I appreciate that. And guys, make sure you sub to Stephanie and her and Mr. Stephanie there. They have auctions on their channel, and you guys need to go take a look. And they also do vlogs when they take off and go to places. They vlog it. You know how I've done before, guys, where like if I'm going to Michigan, sometimes I'll do a live vlog. I haven't done one in a really long time. Now that I think about it, I'm trying to think of the last time I did a vlog. I really don't remember. But anyway, guys, I want to thank you for letting me share this on my platform. I know not everybody, there were some people that did leave earlier, and I understand not everybody wants to listen to this, and this isn't your cup of tea, and that is okay. Um, exactly, exactly, something like that, Hockey. um, I did too. Now that we've brought that up, if anybody wants to verbally in the chat give their testimony, you're welcome to. Or if you want to jump on my live with me and give your testimony, feel free. I will send you the link. You have to be somebody I know from the chat. If you're a total stranger, um, I won't put you on the screen, but you can certainly put it in the chat. Otherwise, we're going to change subjects. I told you guys I would be hitting different topics tonight. Another topic I wanted to hit tonight, this was also a suggestion by Carol Lee. Like I said, she's got great suggestions. I would like to find out something I've never asked you guys, I guess, is what things do you guys like to collect? Like, it could be anything. Maybe things that you collect in your home, maybe different, whether it's hobbies or whether maybe it's a collection of cow figurines for your kitchen or whatever. Is there anything that you folks like to collect, or that maybe you have a certain theme in your house? Maybe you got a room that is, let's say, all goth, and you have all this goth home decor or whatever it is. Is there anything you collect? Maybe you have a coin collection. I know some people that collect guns. I know, as crazy as that sounds. They're avid hunters, or they like to go to the range and do some target shooting. I'm just throwing random things. But like, maybe you have a hobby. Maybe you like to junk journal, and you have a bunch of journals that you created. Anything. Yeah, cows for Zane. There you go. Yeah, Dawn's suggestion box. Yeah, exactly. You used to collect frogs. It started as a joke that a girl who was chased my husband, that she was going to turn me into a frog. Oh, really? Oh, my word. Oh, that's funny. Cynthia likes old things. Yeah, old vintage. Like, yes, love that. Colored glass, seeds, and cats. Drew says, I like to collect watches and cologne. Have tons of them. Oh, I never thought of that. Yeah, for you men. Yes, cologne. There you go. Zane said, cows, stones, nature, and Boy Scouts. There you go. Awesome. I'd love to find out more about you guys. And this is just one way that Carol Lee, like I said, she's wonderful that way. She has a lot of great ideas. And this was one way that she gave me an idea, and I like that idea, Carol Lee. Yeah, just anything you like, whatever it is. It could be a sport. Maybe you're into. I used to be really into volleyball. I was a volleyball nut. People probably thought I was a little cray-cray, but that's okay. That's fine. A little cray-cray. Yeah. Yes, Ashley and Rosie, little Rosie. I love the animals. You guys know. Now, listen, I'm not an animal collector, okay? But would I love to have more animals? Yes, but we already know that. But I certainly don't collect them. But yes, I do love my animals. I will say that. One thing Bob likes, this is kind of random, but he'll tell you, whenever we go to like a festival, especially the ones in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and different ones we've gone to, and just any store or vendor that sells like old they sell root beer in like old root beer bottles and stuff like that. He likes those old bottles like that had root beer, some type of beverage. But usually it's whenever they're, like the old sarsaparilla bottles, stuff like that. Randomly he'd pick up a bottle or two here or there, and he likes stuff like that. So, okay, let's see what Carol Lee said. I collect rick-rack fabric, tiny under 4-inch snow people, head vases, glass spheres for my garden. Yes. Yes. And I love the under 4-inch snow people. I know what you're talking about, Carol Lee. I've seen the snow people, but right now, I forget right now what they look like. I know I've seen it before. But for the life of me, I cannot remember what they look like. You guys know already that I like, one thing I like to collect is anything sparkly. Not only sparkly clothes and jewelry, because you guys already see that all the time. Right now, my purse, you ought to see my purse that I'm sporting right now. It's a metallic silver tone sequins purse. It's a hobo purse. Bob, can you go get that for me? You guys know anything sparkly just about really gets me fired up. But it's not just clothes and jewelry, because you guys might think, it's just that. No, basically anything sparkly, my eye is already attracted to it, So Zane said his favorite hobby is helping others in need. And Zane does a really good job of that. Boy, he was raised right. You can tell, Oh, yeah, send me a picture, Cynthia. Definitely send me a picture. Cynthia says she likes old Bibles. Oh, wow, you have one from 1848. We have something in common, because we have an old Bible. I got to tell you this story. Because, here's my purse.
Put on your sunglasses, folks.
You guys ready for my purse? You guys know I love to sparkle. Hope you're ready. This is my hobo bag that I am sporting right now. That's my purse, you guys. And it's got a real thick chain, totally up my alley. I don't get into hobo bags, but you can see why I fell in love with this sucker. And it feels like a suitcase. But hey, that's my purse right now, guys. I mean, does it shock you? Does it really shock you? If it shocks you, then you have probably never been to my channel. But it shouldn't shock you. Anyway, I got to tell you a story about where was I going? What did I just say, Bob? Before the purse thing? Oh, my word. Just left my head. Isn't it awesome? I love it. I love it. And I don't know. It's just so. And I get so many compliments. Everybody's like, "Oh, I love your purse. Where'd you get it?" And I'm like, "Garage sale." If you know me, another thing about me, I try to get something as cheap as I can. I won't lie. I mean, I don't try to get somebody to go down on their prices. Old Bibles, that's what we were talking about. Okay, thank you guys for getting me on track. So anyway, we went to a yard sale, and hi Boo Boo, welcome. So I was going to a yard sale, and there was an old Bible, one of those old, big, thick Bibles. The coffee table, I call them coffee table Bibles. The big, okay? And there was one in Michigan at an antique, like one of the antique malls that I've sourced from. And I wanted that one. Out of all the ones I've seen, that antique Bible, I wanted it, but I couldn't afford it. So I went to this yard sale. They had an old Bible. It was in way better shape than the one in the antique mall, but still to this day, I wish I could have that one. And I asked how much, and they said, "Oh, well, I forget what they said." Bob was with me. Bob, do you remember the first price they gave? I don't remember. It was cheap, but no, I'm not even kidding you. It was cheap, like $20 or something, which is really cheap for an old Bible. But I don't even know if it was $20.
She ended up giving it to us.
It was here's what it was. I think it was, she only said $10 or 15 something. Well, I only had like $6 on me. And I just asked. I knew it was going to be more than what I had on me, but I just went ahead and asked her. And I said, "Oh, okay." I said, I'm sorry." She said, "Well, don't you want it?" And I said, "No, I really want it." I said, "I don't. I thought I had more in my. I just don't have the money." And I wasn't trying, guys. I am not a person, and you could ask Bob. I am not a person that ever, when I go to a yard sale or anything, I never, ever ask a person to go lower on their price ever. That's not me. Now, my twin sister, total opposite. She will try to egg somebody to go down. She has no shame in her game. Me, I do not. I can't. I don't want to do that to people. You know what I mean? I'm not like that at all. But her, oh man, she will, every little thing she will ask if they'll go down. And I always walk away from her. I get so embarrassed. Anyway, I'm getting off track. So I said, "I'm so sorry. I won't be able to today. I thought I had a little bit more money." And we started to walk away, and she said, "Wait a second." She said, "I'll just give it to you." And I said, "No, that would be wrong. No, you don't have to do that." I said, "Ma'am, I wasn't trying to get you to go down on the price. The price was fabulous. Trust me. I just thought I had more money than I do, and I'm sorry." And she goes, "No, I'm serious. You really want that." And I could tell. She said, "I want it to go to a good home. Please take it." I was like, "This can't be real. I've wanted one of these old Bibles forever." And like I said, the one in Michigan was really expensive. And I don't even know if they still have it there. I don't think it's there. I think, yeah, I went there the other day. I don't think it's still there. Somebody must have bought it. That was the one I really, really wanted bad. But anywho, it's just been my luck trying to get a hold of these old Bibles, because whenever I see one that I really want, I can't afford it. It's always either too high of a price, or like in this situation, I had barely any money on me. I got to look into that, Carol Lee. You said, okay, I can show wing. Okay, let me look at the pictures, guys. Give me a minute. Because I am so curious about this. Well, oh my word. Look at that one. Oh, Cynthia. That is awesome. This one, it says, the Holy Bible containing the Old and New Testaments translated out of the original tongues. Cruden's Complete Concordance. Wow. All righty. Oh, Cynthia, here's what it looks like in whole, guys. Look at that. Oh, I love it. Yes, I will do that. I will definitely forward those to you. Oh, Cynthia, that is awesome. That is something to cherish. Oh, my heavens. I love it. Yes, I call these Bibles, I call them coffee table Bibles. And I told Bob that is one thing that will be on my coffee table. We don't have our coffee tables up right now because we changed our whole style when we moved into this house. But when we do our coffee tables, my Bible will be on there. I just absolutely love those old vintage antique Bibles. Oh, I just love them. So much history. Can you imagine whose hands held those Bibles? That's one thing that always goes through my head. What kind of people were they? Were they good people? Were they, your mind goes there. You know what I mean? Yes, history. Love it. I love hearing about you guys' collections. That's awesome. Bob, you want to tell the audience what you like?
Huh?
You want to come here and tell the audience what you like to sort of collect? When you can.
I love cigar boxes.
Bob likes cigar boxes. He likes his tools. He likes to collect tools.
What guy don't like
I know.
tools?
What guy doesn't? And fishing gear. What else? Oh, Salt needs a treat, does she?
Turkey. I just
Okay.
gave her the last one.
I'll get her some.
Well,
yeah, cats.
no.
Bob says no to the cats.
No cats. We're good. We're good with cats. Something I used to really love doing, and it very therapeutic to me, is what?
I was gonna have you sneak your head in here. Just put this down, and then you can sneak your head in here. Here, come here. Here's Bob.
Yeah.
There he is.
I used to love to put together model cars and like the warships and airplanes. And I know it sounds weird, but
come here, Sati. Come on.
Just to be able to sit down and do that, it was just used to be very therapeutic, just relaxing to me. I haven't done it in years. And the last time I checked the prices, those models have went way up in price.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, wow.
Can you get her another treat? I don't know. She wants something.
She wants
What's
something.
wrong, Salty?
I have to go tend to a cat. So
yeah, our little saltine cracker. That's what I call her. Salt and Peppa, our two big tiger cats, our oldest cats. Yeah. She's got lots of names too. Well, not a lot. but I call her my little saltine cracker. Okay, guys, I'm weird. If you if you haven't caught on to that, I'm a little out there. It's okay. It's okay. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, so how about this? Is there something that you've always wanted to ask me, but you didn't feel like you could, or you were trying to think of when to ask me and you wanted me to say something about it online or something? Is there anything that you would like to know or ask me? I mean, obviously, I don't mind answering anything. Obviously, this is a PG channel, but other than that, is there anything that you guys have maybe wondered about or whatever? How did I meet Bob? Okay. Yeah, I know the names. We got some wingdingers when it comes to names. Peppa, he's Peppy. He's sometimes I call him Peppermint Patty. I mean, it just goes and goes. Peppa-Cola. I mean, it's seriously. I just once I start, it doesn't stop, and you just probably shouldn't ask that. Don't ask about the names. It gets crazy. It just does. So Bob and I had a situation where I had to move in with a couple, an older couple that I knew, that I went to church with. Their son was my age and I went to school with, and I had to move in with them. I didn't have a place to live at the time, and they offered to take me in. And so I had to go stay with them. And it was a really rough patch of my life. Obviously, things were not going well, as you can imagine. And I was in between jobs. I started looking, but first I had to figure out, transportation, because my transportation was gone and I didn't have any anymore. And so, I was trying to figure out first how to get a vehicle so that I could go get a job, and was going through all this because they didn't have a taxi service or a bus service in that town. In this little town, it was Jonesville, Michigan. And when you're looking at the glove, it's right down here. Central, Southern. And at that time, they had no taxi, no nothing. Now, in the town beside that town, Hillsdale, Michigan, they did have what's called Dial-A-Ride, a little bus, but that would only go into Hillsdale. They would not go clear to Jonesville, where I was living with this couple. They would not come out there that far to pick me up. So I truly I didn't have any means to really help myself. So one day, the house, let's see, it was a tri-level house. So when you first walked in their house, it's a really nice house. When you first walked in the house, you were on the middle floor, and that was the kitchen. And then when you walked upstairs, that was all the bedrooms and one of the bathrooms. Then when you headed down in the basement, that was some more bedrooms and another kitchen and bathroom, because they turned it into an apartment. And they had, at the time, family members that were living down below. They also owned two more houses on their property, one behind them and one beside them. And so they were trying to get one of the apartments in the house behind their house ready for me to move into. they were going to let me rent an apartment from them in the back. But at that time, I was living with them. So Bob was renting the house next door. That was the other house, their other rental house. And it was a whole house that he and his roommate at the time, Daryl, they were both truck drivers, and they lived in this little red house that my friends rented to them. So they were kind of like down the hill. So I was upstairs on the top level of this house, and Bob had come over. I don't know if it was, I don't think it was to pay the rent. He came over and said hi to them. Do you remember why exactly you went over there?
I don't.
Bob went over there for some reason to talk to them about something. And I wasn't really listening. I heard that there was some guy talking to the folks, but I didn't know who it was. I was upstairs watching TV. And because they had the big living room upstairs and then the bedrooms and a bathroom upstairs. So I was in the living room just watching TV. And this was at the end of May. And my landlord, the wife, because it was a husband and wife, she came up and wanted, she said, Dawn, our neighbor is up here. Why don't you go and meet him? And I was like this. I was not about to, I was vegging out, I was relaxed. I was watching TV. I don't want to meet somebody. Not right now. No thanks. And she wasn't trying to set us up, by the way, guys. This wasn't an intentional, she's trying to set me up and hook me up with Bob. It wasn't that. She just wanted me to meet him. When people would come, and the time I lived there, I would meet a couple different people. And I was like, what a pain in the keister. I don't want to. But so I walked downstairs, and they introduced me to Bob, and, hi, how are you? Well, I didn't really know what to say to him. I was just kind of, yeah. It wasn't really, I wasn't like invested at that moment. I was just like, okay, yeah, he's there.
And you were wearing blue jean shorts, a t-shirt, and a red bandana.
Back then I was wearing bandanas. We won't go there. It was a weird time in my life, but I was into bandanas. Guys, there was a lot of weird things about me. I don't even know if you really want to hear the story, but yes, Bob remembers exactly what I was wearing. Do I know what he was wearing? Heck no. I don't even remember what colors. I don't remember. Honestly, I don't even really, other than hi, I don't really remember what I said to him. You want to be honest. But he gave me that look. You guys know the look? He gave me that look, and I was like, whoa. Hey, buddy, you just met me. Calm down. Seriously, because I was like, I'm just here. Like, it's okay. Just go do what you're doing. Like, I really wasn't, when I say I wasn't invested, I was not, I was not about men. Remember, this is the time I was girls rule. I hate boys. This was that period of my life. So I don't care if he just walked off of the GQ magazine. I wasn't going to be interested. I just wasn't. I was in that total, I'm going to do things on my own. I hate men. I want to be totally away from them. I wish they'd go on a deserted island and just live there. You know what I mean? That's what attitude I had at this time. So I was not, gonna be locking into this guy. It didn't matter what he looked like. I could care less. You know? So, and honestly, when I met him, I didn't like really stare at him and stare him up and down and see what he looked like. When I say I wasn't invested, I was like, yeah, hi, how are you? And went right back upstairs, if I recall right. So after that meeting, I don't know if it was, I want to say it was the next day, but I could be wrong on this. Wasn't it the next day they moved me to that apartment? I think the next day it was time to move into the apartment because they were trying to fix it, get it ready. Not fix it up really, but get it ready from whoever lived there before. So I moved up there and Bob came back again. Once again, this time, because he knew I was moving there, because my friend there, she was going on and on. Yeah, we're going to move. Dawn's going to be living back there and blah, blah, blah. We're going to move her in tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? So he knew that I was moving in that day, the next day. So sure enough, here comes Bob trudging up the hill and, hey, can I help you move? Oh, yeah. Bob was trying, this was Bob's game, okay? Helpful, So can I help you? Can I help you with that? We were moving a little bit of furniture. It wasn't much. I had, it was bare bones. Right at that time, I didn't have a phone and I didn't even have a TV. I had a microwave cart that we moved up there. I didn't even get a microwave that day. I had nothing. And so literally she moved me up there and I wasn't sure why, because I didn't even have a bed. I didn't have a mattress, nothing. So here comes Bob. Yeah, stalker. Yeah, exactly. Because, he obviously, he wanted to get to know me a little better. So he took that opportunity, you opportunist over there. He took the opportunity to, hey, I'll go help her move. Oh, yeah. Move right into my heart. Oh, guys. It's nighttime. I don't know. I don't know. I'm drinking coffee. I don't know what else to say. Anyway, so he helped me, and what do my friends do? My friends, they start to help me and then they go back home and just stop helping me. They left me and Bob alone. How convenient. They certainly weren't helping with the whole my feminist thing that I had going on at that time. They weren't helping me with the I hate men routine. So they left us alone, and that was our first time we had a big heart-to-heart talk. He wanted to it was that, hey, how you doing? I mean, how'd you get into this situation? And we start talking, and of course I revealed right then and there, I can't stand men, not looking for a man, don't want a man, no men. So I let him know right out the gate, no thanks. Even though he wasn't pouring it on thick or anything. He was just trying to hey, I said, I said, listen, I mean, right now, truthfully, I just don't have a lot going on. I'm in between jobs, so you probably shouldn't talk to me anyway. I'm not in a good state. I was trying to basically kind of shoo him away, if you will. And he said, well, I'm here if you need anybody to talk to. I'm here to listen. Remember that? Do you remember when you were so listening to every word, Bob? Do you remember? He's not even listening now. See, things change that quick. He's not even He's not even hearing me right now. He used to be that guy, and then something changed. Yeah. So then the sweetest thing, yes, God sent me a man. Yeah. Has Dawn stopped to take a breath during the story? Probably not. Probably not. So on the days that followed, okay, after I had this talk, and he's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "No." He could see I was probably really depressed, honestly, at that point, or I mean, on the brink of depression, because I was just not in a good stage in my life. I mean, I was homeless to an extent. I mean, I had this new apartment now, but I had to, hang my hat at my friend's house and wait for this apartment to get cleared and then move into it. But I had nothing and I had no job, and my vehicle, I can't remember which vehicle I had, but it was not drivable and I had to junk it or whatever. Or did I? No, I sold it. That's right. I sold it, whatever vehicle it was. I just don't remember. I had to sell the vehicle basically for parts. I mean, just they wanted the vehicle for parts, whoever bought it. Anyway, Bob, the next day, I had this big talk. He said, "Hey, if you need anything at all, let me know." And I said, "Well, you can see what I need. I mean, the apartment is empty. There's no furniture. All they did was literally, they had a wheelable, one of those old wheelable microwave carts. And they didn't have the microwave. They just gave me the cart. I didn't have a bed. I had to sleep on the floor. I kid you not. I had to sleep. Luckily, there was carpet on the floor. I had no mattress, nothing. I had nothing. I didn't have pillows. And then eventually they brought up a couch, an old couch that probably was left from another renter that they had stored. And they brought up a couch. And so I had something to sleep on later. So the next time Bob came, he came up. This is when Bob started coming every day up to my apartment. Literally, he would get out of work, and of course he'd work third shift. He'd get out in the morning, and he would, I think, put his lunch pail down and then head straight up to my apartment. That's what he did. That's what followed. Day after day, he'd come right up, and then he'd go get his sleep, and then before he'd go to work, he'd come all the way back up the hill and come and see me before he'd go to work. And so the next day, he came up, and he showed up with a clothes basket, and in the clothes basket, he had 2 pillows. He had, I can't remember what else. He bought me some stuff for my apartment because I didn't even have pillows. I was sleeping on the carpet. And I don't know how many nights I slept on the carpet. I don't know if it was the next night you came with the stuff, but anyway. So he brought me this clothes basket, and that was my first clothes basket to even put dirty clothes in. You know what I mean? Because I had nothing. And it was so sweet. I had never seen a man do something that sweet. I didn't tell him to do it. He thought of this all on his own. And he came up there with all this stuff in this clothes basket. And I thought, yeah, 2 pillows. Yeah, honestly, between me and you, yeah, I think there was a plan for those 2 pillows. Right, Bob?
No.
He says no. I think otherwise. But anyway, that's how it started. And then the next day after that, he brought another, like a couple big bags, like Walmart bags full of stuff. And I was like, "What are you doing?" And he said, "Well, you didn't have anything." I said, "Why are you being nice to me?" This was, guys, you got to understand, I was so I was so anti-men that it didn't even make sense. I was not used to seeing this out of a man. I said, "Why are you being so nice to me? You don't even know me, really." It just didn't make sense to me. But
Not to mention, I gotta get a job.
obviously, yes. And then he said, "Dawn, when we had our long talk, one of the first things he said, because I said, I just don't know what I'm going to do. I said, I'm glad I'm in this apartment that, I'm not living with a family, but at the same time, I don't have a car anymore. I have no means to help myself. I think I had a car. It was in the driveway, but it was undrivable. So I said, I don't even know what I'm going to do. And he said, well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. He said, I have a second job. I work at a restaurant on the weekends, and I will get you a job. Don't worry, Dawn. I will get you a job. I said, how do you know you can get me a job? He said, I just know I'll get you a job. Don't worry about it. I'm friends with the owner. Well, that took a little while because he got a hold of the owner, but she didn't say yes to me until that weekend. And so then, now I met him and all that in May. I got the job and she said, when can you come to work? And I said, I can start today. But one of the things I told Bob is I have no transportation. And he goes, I'll get you there. Don't worry about it. I said, how are you going to get me there? You have a job. But he did. He got me to the job. And I don't know who else helped with that situation. I don't remember at the time.
That's when I bought my Cavalier and let you have the truck. Remember that old Ford truck?
Yeah.
So shortly after that, I bought that Cavalier.
Yeah, but that was later. At first, he only had this old beat up truck. And I might have got help. My landlord might have at first took me back and forth. I think that's what happened. Help me when you couldn't,
right.
So I think I had help at first with my landlord taking me. And then Bob, not long after that, got a little Chevy Cavalier. It was one of those little 2-door burgundy red Cavaliers. And so he gave me his truck so that I would have something. And it had a lot of problems. And then, but it was something for me to drive. And so then my car that was sitting in the driveway, I wound up selling it to one of the customers at the restaurant. I got a job and I started it June 4th that year. And so I got a job. I got the keys to the restaurant within 3 months of being there. Me and the owner, we just clicked. She grew kind of fond of me. And like I said, I got keys to the joint. I got to, I did all the positions in that restaurant. I worked there for a while. I was working 7 days a week because, now I had to pay for a vehicle. I had to pay for, my new rental. I needed to get a phone, of course, pay for that. So yeah, it is hard to trust. Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's right. Can you imagine? You guys would be sitting here for a while. Yeah, it's true, Cynthia. I had been through a lot. And that time of my life was it was a dark, dark place. I honestly, there were times, I just felt overwhelmed. I didn't know how, of course, when you don't have a job and you don't have a place to live and you're thrown kind of into this apartment and you don't even have the means to fill it with anything, even needs. She had to go, my landlord had to go buy me groceries because I didn't even have groceries. There was a fridge in there, but they had to get it out of storage and wheel it up there. So they got the fridge in there. I think the first couple days I didn't even have a fridge. I was eating at their house and I had to wait till they got the fridge up there. I mean, that's how bare bones. I mean, I had nothing in this apartment but the carpet. And so, yeah, that's how we met. That's how that started. He listened to me. I wasn't used to men listening. I was used to men just acting out in whatever way that meant. I wasn't used to them listening to me. Now anymore, I have to say, Bob, hello, over here. My, how times have changed. Where is that guy, Bob? Where is that guy that I met 100 years ago? He got old with the dinosaurs.
Yeah. Life.
Yeah, life happened. But anyway, that was the fun story. And finally, okay, I guess I got to eventually lead you to, he asked me basically if I would take a chance on him. I said, listen, slow your roll. We can sort of see each other, but I don't even want to date really. I'll hang out with you. But I'm not even going to call it a date. You can ask him. I wouldn't even call them dates. I said, we're not even going to go there. This is how, like, really strict with this I was being. Because I had had enough with men. They hurt me so bad. I was like, I'm out. No more men for a while. I got to get my bearings straight, you know. So I said, you know, we can hang out and do stuff. So we'd go, you know, and do stuff and the movies and I don't know what all he took me out to eat a lot because he's seen, you know, I mean, like I said, half the time as far as groceries, when I started out and she bought me groceries, it was peanut butter and jelly, eggs, and like crackers. And like I had very bare bones minimum on the groceries. So yeah, he had a washer and dryer in his apartment. So that was a blessing. I could go down and use the washer and dryer. You know, sometimes I would go down there and hang out with him or he'd come up to the apartment, hang out with me. A lot of it was just seeing each other hanging out at either one of our places. And then, because he didn't have a lot of money either. He had just started this job. At the time, it was Conway. Now they're XPO Logistics. That's the name of the company now. But back then, they had different owners, and it was called Conway. And he just got that job not too long before he met me. And that's why he still had to work at the restaurant as a cook because although he had a roommate, they had a lot of bills. They had vehicles, they had phones, they had a landline, and they got their cell phones too. And he was had young kids that he was paying child support. So he had to work at the restaurant to make up, you know, he was missing, you know, so much money in child support every week. So he was able to get paid right out of the register, you know, working on the weekends, you know, to get a little bit extra to help him along. So he, you know, didn't have the means. Even when he was helping me with the household stuff, he didn't have the money really to even help me out. He just did because he felt bad that we didn't have anything. You know, I didn't in my apartment, you know. Back in the day, I lived off pork and beans and Kraft mac. Oh, yeah. I can definitely empathize there. Yes. I remember when I was married once, guys, and I've never remarried. Um, my ex-husband, when he had left me, and this is no joke, um, I had gotten to where all I had in my cupboards or fridge was cornmeal mush. That's all I had was cornmeal. And I made cornmeal mush every day. All I had was cornmeal mush, maple syrup, ketchup, and mustard. And all I could drink was water because I don't even think I had milk. I had milk for a little bit and then I didn't have any more milk. I had to make just cornmeal mush with water. Like, I lived that way for, I think, a week. I lived where that's all I could eat. That's all I had in my house when my ex-husband left me. I didn't. I had like a couple things in the cupboard, but you needed things to um, for it, and so I couldn't make it. It was rough, but it's amazing, what you live through when you think about it, right? I think a lot of people look back at their lives, what you lived through. You're just like, my word, I lived through that. Wow. My second husband, he is so passionate and he never raises his voice. We don't argue, we talk. I was amazed. Oh, that's awesome, Cynthia. Yes. Yes. Hugs to everyone. I mean, that's what I love about it's did he take the kids? Yeah, okay, this is what happened. No, I got custody of the kids. But then after my car accident, my ex-husband got some people to go against me to get my kids taken from me, is what happened. I mean, given to him. He took custody. Yeah, I guess I'm saying it wrong, but I mean, they were taken from me to him. But so yes, the custody transferred to him later down the road, because he got a lot of people to do a lot of horrible things, unlawfully, and I didn't have the money for an attorney. It was my journey was not pleasant. Let's put it that way. A lot of things happened, a lot of blackmail and a lot of manipulation and lies happened, to where he eventually got custody. And then I gradually got my kids back, but it was a long journey for me. And like I said, I was hurt so deeply that's why I was so anti-men. I hated men. I can honestly say, and I don't hate anybody now, but back then, I mean, I had a hatred. I really did. I didn't think it was hatred for men, but I can honestly say, looking at it in hindsight, I did back then. I really did I developed a really strong hatred because my kids are my life. Now I love you guys to pieces, and you guys know I do, but my kids are my world. They are my everything. And so it was a deep wound for me to carry around like that all the time. And there was so much manipulation and betrayal and lies. We'd be here all day to tell you. But that being said, yeah, I suffered the pain of losing custody when I didn't deserve to lose it. We had a crooked judge, well, a couple crooked judges back then, very crooked. And a lot of things happened that should have never happened. And I had no way to control it. And then when I did get an attorney, it was really honestly too late, that type of thing. The attorney I did have in the beginning, he was good. I was able to get the custody, but later down the road, when we had to keep fighting each other and going back into court, it just got more and more ugly. It just was an ugly divorce. And it's a big scar. Because it was a deep wound. But it taught me a lot. And it when you have lessons, or when you have things happen in your life, it's hard to always turn them into lessons. And I'll admit, back then, I didn't see the lessons. I didn't see how that was supposed to somehow help my life. You know what I mean? It felt like, the world was against me kind of feeling. So for me, it was always a challenge to, learn anything from it, because it didn't seem, in that horrible state, how could you learn something? Yeah, it is real. And it's, yeah, Colleen. Yeah, exactly. I, I, I just, that's why, if you're wondering, man, Dawn, you were really mean to Bob. If you just knew my history, now you're hearing a little bit about it, and I'm not going to bore you with the rest of it, but I'm just here to tell you, if you knew my history, my past, especially with men, it's a very dark, dark road that I have been on when it comes to the subject of men. And back then, I was anti men. They hurt me too deep. I mean, like I said, my kids were my life. So if you take them away from me, you can imagine what I thought of you. You know what I'm saying? And although I knew that not all men are created equal, and I knew that there were good men out there, it's not that I didn't believe that there wasn't a good man. I just didn't want a man. I just was done with being hurt. And to me, that meant I was done with men altogether. I didn't want to hurt anymore. So I chose to be single. I didn't want to even, relationships didn't sound good at all. No matter cross out marriage, just anything. It wasn't for me. I just, at that point in my life, that was the day I decided no more. I can't take another step with another man. That's it. When you carry around that pain, you can't then turn around and say, oh, yep, it's time for another man. You know what I mean? Those thoughts just don't even come to your head. You're too busy thinking about, this is how men are, and this is how they're going to treat me. And at least the men I find, like I said, I don't mean every man out there, and you just don't think you're going to get somebody decent, even, let alone that's right for you. You know what I'm saying? So, Bob says, I know you're still looking. He's a brat. He really is. But, yeah, so it's just my mental state back then was doing everything I could to to keep myself alive, number one, to keep myself going, number two, to keep myself protected, really protected from all kinds of people, so, self-preservation. Yeah.
Comment before that one.
How many episodes are in Dawn and Bob season 1? Lots of episodes. Oh man. Like I said, guys, we have so many stories. And of course, Bob and I have been through some struggles. I mean, big struggles. Both between him and I directly, and also things in general, like circumstances, situations, bad things that happened to both of us, but also between him and I. We've had some situations where um, we just could not, get it together. And there were different reasons why. That at one point we just said, okay, there's no point in this. This is stupid. Let's just go our separate ways. And so we did. And so we were apart for like almost 3 years. We were apart. So we had a journey through this whole thing. We're not one of those groups of these couples that have everything we've gone through has just been roses and rainbows. You know what I mean? We've had some struggles, and I mean big struggles. It was, none of it was cookie cutter. None of it was always happy and fun. There was a lot of times that there were struggles between us and us on our own journeys. So, but yeah. What doesn't kill you make you stronger. Yeah.
I believe God brought us back together for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, you have to believe that. I mean, if obviously we did get back together, but we, like I said, we had some real situations that got real quick. But I think that's everybody, but everybody has their own way of figuring them out. Like I said, in the beginning, though, I was anti-men, and I stuck to my guns for a very long time with him. I said, no, I'm not ready. Will you be my girlfriend? Nope. Don't even talk to me about girlfriend, boyfriend. Don't want to hear it. La, la, la. I did that to him a lot. I mean, because I didn't want to, I just, don't ask me. I already told you my story. I already told you I'm in a situation where I'm going to try to live my best life single, and I'm going to see how far that takes me. You're going to have to just accept it. And if you want to hang out with me, that's fine. We can hang out, but I'm not going to make a commitment to you. Yeah. See, after all that, I still wasn't, I'm like, no, I'm not your girl. Cause he's like, meet my girlfriend when we'd go to, go somewhere. I like, wait, hold your horses. No. Thank you, Junior. Thank you. I was a tough nut to crack. I will say that. But I definitely told him, don't you, like, that was probably one of the first times he crossed me, is when he called me his girlfriend. I was like, whoa, no. Remember what I told you? No, we're not even dating. Remember, get that thought out of your head, Buster. We are friends, and that's where we're going to leave it. Friends. We're in the friend zone, and we're going to ride this zone for as long as necessary. Yeah. I was there for a while, so we had some struggles.
So we're still riding the friend
Welcome,
zone
Junior.
20 years later.
Yeah. And now, now he's more or less like, Dawn, I need some space. And half the time he's not even paying attention to me, guys. Isn't that weird? That's how far we've grown over here. But anyway, that was our story. And thank you guys for inquiring about that. Like I said, if there's anything you want to know, let me know. Any questions you have. But yeah, our story together would be 1,000,000 chapters, because we've had some real hard chapters, but then we've had some real good ones. I mean, it's probably sounding like it was all gloom and doom. It was not, obviously, but we did have some times where it certainly was.
We had some real ups and downs.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
We still do. Like any other couple.
there's times I want to kick him out literally and put him in the. We actually have an actual doghouse, and it's actually a good size. He couldn't fit in there, but there's some days I want to push him in there and try to squeeze him in there so that he'll fit. I'm sure he feels the same way about me, guys. So don't, but you guys probably know by now, I like to laugh and I like to joke around. I like to have fun, and I have to have somebody who can keep up with me that way. If you can't have fun, you're probably not my cup of tea. You know what I mean? So we like to have fun. We like to laugh. That's how we are. Welcome to season 23. Now, if we can just find Pocket Pleaser 23. Exactly, Hockey. We'll never find it. We never will. Are you kidding? I got to revamp that, by the way. I really do. I'm going to.
Cynthia just asked you a question.
Oh, who did?
Cynthia.
Cynthia did. Okay. Will you ever marry Bob? Wow, that's a question.
You told him.
Wow, that's a question.
Inquiring minds want to know.
Ideally, I've always wanted to be married. I mean, seriously, I've always been a diehard, I want to be married person. I guess maybe one day we will. I'm the one, as you can tell, you probably figured out I'm the one that is stopping that process from happening. I think one day, yes, definitely it will probably happen. I'm a person, you guys see, as far as YouTube just alone, I have a hard time trusting people. You guys, I'm sure, can tell that by now. That being said, it's 10 times worse when it comes to men. I told you a small little portion of my past with men. There's a lot to my past with men that has really made me not fearful of getting married. It's not that I'm afraid. It's not that I'm not for it. I've always pictured myself married. It's just that my ex-husband, I went through so much with him that literally broke me. I mean, it broke me in multiple ways. I'll just say that. I don't need to probably get into all that, and I won't, but there were a lot of situations, let's just put it that way, to where it literally, I don't know. I think it's kind of like, I feel like I'm giving the last possible thing I can give to a man, and I don't want to give it up. I want to just keep it for myself. I hope that makes sense to you guys, because I feel like because of my past, men, because it wasn't just my ex-husband, I had other relationships. Men, more than one, has taken everything from me, literally. Like I said, that included my kids, to where it's the one thing left that they haven't taken, or at least again, because I was married before. So if you can understand, that's why I don't want to give it up. And that's probably going to sound, I don't know what to you all. And I do know what the Bible says about marriage, guys. I do. And trust me, I struggle with that. I know. It's just that when you're hurt that bad, like that deep, sometimes you can't you never come back from that in one way or another. And the way I haven't come back out of it is the marriage issue. I just feel like I can't give up that one thing that is the only thing left. I've given men everything else from me that I could give. I've given children, I've given, my body, I've given my help, I've given them food, I've given them love and gifts, and some of them jobs, and some of, I've given everything I can give to a man. And when you've been really, really betrayed to a really extreme degree, it's really tough to get yourself, to will yourself to take that chance with somebody and say, okay, I can get married again and it's not going to be the same. And it's because it's not, obviously with Bob, it's not the same as the others. And I know that. But at the same time, there's parts of me that feels like that's when it will turn ugly and awful. And I need to just hang on to that one thing. Yes, that's true. That is true, Cynthia. Yeah. My mom wanted me help with dating sites. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, Ashley, listen, some people find their significant other, it happens every day probably, on a dating site. And, to each his own. Some people have really great luck with dating sites, and some people really don't. Yeah, it is, Colleen, for me, it is definitely a trust thing. And Bob knows that. I do want you guys to know that, number one, this is not a surprise to Bob. We had literally from day one, well, it was literally day 2 of meeting him, we've had these heart-to-heart talks. So he knew before he met me before he really got to know me, what he was getting into. He knew that I'm not the woman that's just going to get up and say, let's get married, go into the chapel and we're going to get married. He knew that I wasn't that girl. He knew that. So I didn't surprise him out of the blue with this. Literally the second day that we had the heart-to-heart talk, I mean, we talked for hours. We had a long chit chat. So he knew what he was getting into. It's not a shock or a surprise. That being said, I think he thought he could win me over fairly soon. And when it didn't happen, obviously that gave him a little bit of a frustration, which hindsight 2020, I see why he was frustrated then, because I wouldn't give in. Dawn, will you be my girlfriend? Dawn, will you go out? Will you marry me? And he's asked me several times, and it started fairly soon into it, at least with the girlfriend, boyfriend, the relationship. And I just was a stickler. I was like, nope, I told you how it was with me. I'm just not, nope, please don't. I'll let you know when I'm ready to take that step. And then every year after that, I just realized, man, I'm not ready. I'm just not ready. There's part of me that's ready, but I'm one of those people, I don't make a big decision like marriage unless I'm 100% feeling good that I'm making that decision. And it's not because of Bob as a person. It's because of this hurdle I have about my past with men. So hopefully you guys can understand that it's not me being an awful woman that way. It's like I said, my past, my history with men played a significant part of this journey. And I do want to get married someday, and probably it will happen. I mean, we've been together a long time. That being said, I haven't still, I have to, when I make big decisions, I have to be 100% in. If I'm not 100% sure this is what I need to do, I'm not going to do it. I'm one of them. So, because marriage to me is a awful big decision, and I think one should take that very seriously and not just jump in. That being said, you're probably thinking, Dawn, you're not jumping in. You've known Bob for years. I get you. I know that, but I've just, like I said, it's a deep wound that I know I need to get over. I know I need to get over it. Because I know that I'm the one to stop that from happening. So yeah, it's a journey. How about that? Something you never knew about me, right? It's a journey, and we'll see what happens in the future, right? Yeah, so what do you guys think? I haven't had a chit chat in a long time as far as, okay, cross out the other 2 nights, but I mean just a normal chit chat, not about YouTube related stuff. So it's been a while since I've had a chit chat like this, so it's been nice. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I do, obviously I love him, or I wouldn't. I'm one of those ones, like I said, big decision. Being with someone, sharing the same space as someone is a big decision for me. Now, there's some people that they like to live with whoever rocks their boat that day. You know what I mean? I'm one of those people. I'm not going to be with somebody unless that's where I want to be. I'm one of them people, you know? So yeah, we worry about Bob all the time, right? He knows that too. I constantly worry about him. I used to get so upset with his old company that he worked for when the major ice storms and snowstorms, like blizzard-like conditions, they'd make them run, and I would get so mad that their lives, plus the lives of innocent people on the road, were not important enough that they couldn't tell the customers, hey, we're not running the guys today. It's too dangerous. Whereas FedEx, who he works for now, it's a blessing that way, because total opposite with them. He has to look, he's home tonight. So there's been nights lately because of the weather conditions, they've called him off and he's been home. So I'm glad that he works for a company like that now, to where I don't have to worry as much as I did when we met and he was working for the other company, because that was a lot. Yeah. Yeah. By the way, if you guys don't know truck driver lingo, they call cars four-wheelers. And I'm like, Bob? So this is a fun subject. Truck driver lingo is, it's so fun. Basically, if you're a truck driver, you take a word and you make it longer. Yeah. Oh, Carol Lee, that is a good idea. Yes. And yes, guys, it'll be weird because it would be me proposing to Bob. That's going to be weird. Huh?
It will.
Won't it be weird if I propose to you? It'll be weird. It'll be something,
Well,
but
I
it'll
wanna
be.
me proposing to you.
It could be you proposing to me, but here's the thing. Since I'm the one holding this back, it'd have to be me proposing to you. So I hope you're ready for that.
That means you're gonna get down on one knee and
Now, if I get down on one knee, I'm just going to tell you right now, guys, it's
You
not
won't
going to
get
be
back up.
traditional. I won't be able to get back up unless he picks me up. So maybe that might be a good thing. He'll have to pick me up. Otherwise, I can't, go through the whole motion. So yeah, maybe we'll have to work on that. We'll see where that takes us. So yeah, truck driver lingo. Guys, they take a word and they stretch it out and make it longer, or they add words to it. For example, a car is called a four-wheeler. And Bob, okay, truck drivers, now they do this. I got to tell you, Colleen is probably the only one that can attest to this. I don't know if Colleen and her husband have Colleen, do you and your husband have a CB? Oh my gosh. Bob and his CBs. When he gets on the CB, okay, everything changes. His voice changes. All of a sudden, he's got a weird truck driver accent. I'm not kidding you. This is a real thing. And Colleen is probably the only one that can attest to this. It is, one time he had the CB and he had it in the car because back then when he worked at that job, they had CBs in their truck. They'd also have them in their cars, and friends of ours that we knew, they all did it. It was like it was like a whole CB society. They talked to their friends at night. It was a whole thing. Ugh. You talk about one thing that got on my last nerve. Bob, he'd get on the CB, and I mean, he's a whole different guy. He's like a guy I've never met before. I would literally sit there and stare at him like, who are you? I don't even know you. You sound like a bad Southern accent, like a really mishmash of accents, and it makes this trucker accent. Because I come to find out they all had the same accent. Trucker, I call it trucker accent. And it was like a mishmash of different accents. And then they'd take short words like a car and elongate them and say all this stuff. And I was like, yeah, 10-4, I'll see you in the AM and all this stuff. And I was like, what the hey? I mean, I was like, who does this? This is weird. Like, are we in a movie? And still to this day, if I wish I had a CB right here. Bob, could we hook up a CB in this room so that you
No.
could do the talk? Why?
Because they're for 12 volt, not 120.
Oh, shoot. Well, guys, we're going to try. You know what, Bob, I'm going to have you, we're going to have to, on the weekend, go up to your truck.
I don't
And
have a CB in my truck.
okay, you're going to have to take your CB and plug it in so that you can talk on the CB and show them what I'm talking about. Guys, if you heard this, you would die. It makes me want to laugh. It also makes me cringe. It makes me want to hide. It embarrasses, like all the things, all the emotion. It's weird. I can't, guys. I can't. It literally, I look at him and I'm like, and you wanted me to go over the road with you and listen to this every day. You really wanted me. No, I can't. I would want to stab my eyeballs with dull spoons before I'd listen to that. I mean, for me, it's like I can't. That would be the time I would need earbuds. I would need to listen to I don't know, but I can't. It's so weird to me. You know, always back in the day, but today there's so much crap spoken over the radio. Kevin can't stand to be on there. All these young ones out there all swearing and talking smack. He uses it to hear what? Yeah. See, nowadays, it's really bad on the CBs. There's sex trafficking that goes on. Obviously,
No, you
the
hear a lot of this. You hear these guys come on there. I don't have my panties on. I don't have my panties on.
Yeah, there's a lot of obviously prostitution. That's always been, but yeah, there's sex trafficking. To the drivers to meet in certain spots where other people have a minor there to do things with, and it's a whole different world, even more so than it ever used to be. And it's a very dangerous world, believe it or not. The CB, you can go to a very dangerous world. So yeah, Bob doesn't use the CB anymore, or hasn't been lately.
No,
like
I never even put it in my truck this big.
Yeah, so he hasn't been using the CB. It's just a whole different world, and all kinds of things. I mean, even the restaurant that we're talking about, the truck stop that Bob and I worked at, it's no longer, somebody bought it. They're going to turn it into something. But anyway, there were some things that happened at the a small little state park that was right near the truck stop, and a lot of things would happen at that little state park. It was just a lot of awful things. It's just too bad that this is the world we live in, but it is very hard to imagine all the stuff that goes on, but wow. Yeah, this is Teddy Bear. Yeah. You guys remember
That was Red Sylvine.
Huh?
That was Red Sylvine that sang that song. Teddy Bear.
Oh, is that who? See,
Red Sylvine.
I couldn't remember who sang that song.
Yeah.
But guys, like I said, I tease Bob all the time. I used to tease him all the time about the truck driver lingo. What's other words you used to mean something else? Because here's what my argument about calling a car a four-wheeler. I said, okay, what do you call an actual four-wheeler? What do you call the ATVs? And what do you guys call them? The truckers, what do they call them?
You don't see ATVs on the highway. We're talking about vehicles.
Well, yeah, but now there's
four-wheeler. Yeah, four-wheeler that covers cars, pickups.
Yeah,
vans.
but still, when you
six-wheeler, those are 24 foot.
Okay, but what would you call them though when you
four-wheeler?
So you'd call a car a four-wheeler, and you'd also call a four-wheeler a four-wheeler. I mean, who came up with that? This doesn't make sense. Smokey and the Bandit. Oh yeah. Bob's CB handle was Lone Wolf because he was a single guy, and he wanted the female drivers to know he was single. Right there, Bob. Lone Wolf over there.
I was single and mingle and loved. Single. How did I put it?
You were single and ready to mingle. Yeah. And he wanted the world to know. So he was called Lone Wolf. Oh,
Which
that
they-
Bob.
Changed it to SpongeBob.
And then everybody started calling him SpongeBob. So then it got changed. Now, we should just call him Brat, and that would probably be a good one for him. What other terms that you changed the words to mean something else? I can't remember.
Well, they used to call state troopers super troopers.
They used to call state troopers super troopers. Okay, what else? I don't know. Anyway,
I don't know. It's been so long since
he-
I talked on CB.
when he gets on a CB, he just starts rolling with it. And I just literally, I would stare at him and he'd look back at me and he'd have this weird smile on his face. And I'm like, really? Can we talk normal? Do we have to change our whole tone of voice? Do we have to change everything? Do we have to all of a sudden not talk English? I mean, that's what I didn't get. I'm like, you literally right before my eyes turn into a whole different person. And I can't get down with that. I couldn't, guys. I can't help it. It was just weird to me. Oh, I had a friend of mine. He had a CB. And whenever I would go over to his apartment, he finally, he would be talking on the CB and he said, I'm going to give you a CB handle. And I'm like, what? He goes, I'm going to call you Pocahontas. And I'm like,
How can you just give you a CB
just
handle?
because I've got the native blood, he said. And then sometimes I would wear my hair in braids and I was like the size of a toothpick and
How can you just give you
Yeah.
a CB handle?
would be earring princess. Yeah, it probably would be. There you go. Yeah, now that's true. Now my friend, he would put me on there and here start talking to so and so. They're my friend, and I'm like, and remember how I told you guys, I'm not the type that has to have attention. So once again, I got nervous. I got too nervous with it, where I didn't feel comfortable talking to strangers. Now,
And here you are.
a little while later, I got a little used to it, but I was still nervous. I couldn't really handle it. Yeah, and look at me now. Now I have to talk for a living. Oh, as the world turns. But yeah, back in the day, a lot of people had CBs just in their own houses,
Oh, we used to
in
have
their
a CB.
vehicles. A lot of people had them. Now, we didn't ever have a CB in our family. We had a scanner, like whenever there was an accident or a fire or this or that, like a police scanner. We had one of those in our house. It was in our first house, our farmhouse that we lived in growing up. For some reason, when we moved to the lake house, we didn't have one. I don't know. Maybe they sold it and got rid of it. But there was a time where we had a scanner, and it's not the same thing as a CB, but we never had a CB. Hi, Maritza. That's right, Maritza. Yes. Yes, totally agree. You want a ham radio? I tell you, I still remember, I remember, back then when you had the big house stereos, you had to get the amplifier and the receiver and the this and that and the record player, and you remember all that equipment? Wow.
He says he'd rather have the sausage radio.
Well, guys, it's been great having this chit chat, and I want to thank you for it. I hope you guys had a night where you could just kind of let your hair down and just relax. And even though we didn't have an auction, we had a really nice time, I think. I had a nice time. I hope you guys did. And I hope I didn't offend anybody talking about the Lord. And that's just, I do believe in the Lord. So I understand if there were portions of, if you didn't like caring about my testimony, that's okay. If you like left my channel and came back later because it really was boring or whatever, I understand, and that's no problem. It's just a little part of my life that is actually a big deal for me, and it's just the way I go about navigating my life, if you will. And I really liked that idea, Carolee, about the testimonies, and also things that people collect, because I like to get to know people better. We are pretty much a family here, and so I like getting to know you guys. So for me, it was really enlightening. I loved it. So hopefully you guys did too. And we'll do some more chit chat videos, because I haven't been doing, like I said, and cross out what happened the other day, because I don't mean those kind of chit chats. I mean the chit chats like tonight that we used to do back in the day. I will try very hard to bring them back. Last year, I would do my little chit chats sitting on the living room floor. Remember that? And I had our faux fireplace, and I would turn it on and you guys could see the cats. Sometimes we would have the lives out on the deck during the summer. So we'll try to do that. We'll try to do another fireplace chit chat maybe, so you guys can watch the cats while we're talking. And we'll get on some other subjects. Just like I said, they can be random. If you guys got certain suggestions, just let me know. And I love you guys. You guys stay healthy and be good. And I will see you tomorrow night. Hopefully I will be able to get a hold of Jane, and I will be trying to find out how she's doing. I don't perceive her coming back this Friday. I don't think that that's going to happen, really. But Jane, like I know her. There's been so many times she's come right back after surgery, and she does another live and starts selling. That woman, I tell you, what was that woman's name on the Titanic movie? The Unsinkable Molly? Is that what it was? She's like the unsinkable Jane. You know what I mean? She comes right back after procedures, Good night, everybody. Yeah, she's very resilient. Well, guys, I'm going to get going. Yeah, Molly Brown. I love y'all, and I'll see you on the next one, guys. Bye, everybody. Bye.